But yeah, so you just moved here 8 months ago.
Yeah, I moved here 8 months ago. Here I am, JS Health Vitamins. Wherever the customers want us, we go.
JS Health Vitamins, here you are. Welcome to California.
Thank you. As I said, we're such OG fans. My husband also, that's the funniest part. He loved the hills.
He
did?
Most. Oh my God, I love that. Wait, so where in Australia are you from?
Sydney.
Okay, so I've been to Sydney a ton, and I feel like a lot of people make this comparison too.
Yes.
And a lot of people say that like the Sydney lifestyle is very similar to the LA lifestyle.
I'd say more San Diego.
Yeah.
That's
like beachside city.
That's really what it's like.
But I feel like obviously health and wellness has always been something that was like important in Australian culture, you know, like this beach culture. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's just like a stereotype that I have, but like I just feel like it has a similar attitude in LA where it's like a health mecca.
And the mornings are like everything for Australians.
Yeah.
Wake up, have your coffee, have an ocean swim, especially if you're living near Bondi Beach. I live near there.
Amazing.
So it's exactly like LA. It encourages like, let's wake up, let's have a morning, let's work out. And it is very inspirational in that way. I think it's still new. Like the health trend started, I would say like 15 years ago. I can't recall it being trendy before that. But now, yes, if you came to Bondi, it's the most active lifestyle you'll ever
place.
Yes.
Yeah. So what made you want to start a vitamin company in Australia?
So my obsession with health goes way back because I knew I wanted to be a nutritionist from the age of 13, 14. Literally, it was like clear as day. I went to a yoga retreat with my grandmother who took me to a yoga retreat for my birthday.
Amazing that your grandmother took you to a yoga retreat for your birthday.
I should backtrack even further than that. Like I grew up in the healthy life. My family were always living the healthy life. So to me, it was my natural way. I mean, my mom, the fridge was always filled with whole food. She would only cook from the fridge. We never had junk in the house, not in a deprivation way at all. Like we went to parties. She encouraged us to indulge. I grew up in the healthy life. Our vacations together as a family were always hiking or being active, swimming in the ocean, cooking wholesome food. My grandmother was a yogi, drinking her lemon water and eating papaya and taking her tray of vitamins every time I'd visit her. That's sort of the way I grew up.
That was just the way of life for you. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I actually lost that a little bit at the age of 13, 14 because I also developed disordered eating. What happened was obviously my body shape was changing from puberty. No one tells you that that's normal. And I panicked. I'd also immigrated from South Africa to Australia around that time. So it's probably also a way of me trying to control my changing environment.
Of course. And as a new teenager, the hormones are out of control.
And I latched on to fad diets. And this started honestly a decade of fad dieting. I always say I will win the award for trying the most fad diets in the world. I tried every single one. And I always say the problem with that is you become afraid of all of the food groups because every single diet tells you something completely different, sometimes even polar opposites.
And something has to be cut out completely.
Something's cut out.
It's like it always feels very restrictive.
Exactly. So by the end of it, I was truly afraid of all of the food groups. This went on for 10 years and I always say that the number on the scale just determined my self-worth. You know, being skinny became my goal in life without a doubt. And this went on from the age of 13 to, I think, 20, where it was just all about my disordered relationship with food. It controlled me. My relationship with food was sort of the center of my universe. And I started really disconnecting from my own body and I would say hating on myself because the perfectionist in me was just trying to control it. And as I said, being thin became my goal in life. So everything was centered around that.
Everything was around that. And then you can't even be present. You can't be in a moment. You can't enjoy your life.
Yeah. I definitely lost the sense of balance. And my relationship with food was just so strained. But all the way through this time, I also knew always I wanted to be a nutritionist. You have to remember I came from this healthy life.
Right.
My family.
But that also had probably so much to do with it too, because you knew so much that you were like always trying to learn and educate yourself. And I'm sure that that was probably a justification for you in your head.
Exactly.
But at the same time, yeah, so interesting.
Very interesting.
So interesting that you knew what was healthy. You saw it. You lived it. You grew up in this lifestyle.
And then next thing I was living off fad diet foods. I mean, I was in my lectures and my health lectures eating diet jelly, diet Coke and cans of tuna, low calorie diet. I mean, I remember finishing a lecture on health and coming outside and sipping on my Diet Coke and eating Diet Jelly for breakfast in the car park because that's how obsessed I was. And I am
with the calories,
obsessional in my personality. It's like how I am with my work. I'm a full high-performing perfectionist. I have OCD.
Which obviously when directed towards the right thing can be great.
Exactly.
But obviously you can't always control where it's directed.
Hyperfixation.
Yeah.
So yeah, that went on for a long time. And then after school, I decided to do my Bachelor of Health for 3 years and then nutritional medicine. So I studied health and nutrition for 5 years. After that, I went into private practice. Very soon after that, I also started a blog where I was talking very candidly about my disordered relationship with food and how I was struggling to find balance. And I actually, as a nutritionist by then, thought there has to be a better way that for all women, that we don't need to latch onto fad diets in order to achieve our health goals and results. Because what happened was I started changing myself. I was in health and nutrition school, and I slowly started adding all the foods back into my diet. I started becoming a mindful eater. I let go of the scale, literally threw out the scale. I stopped counting calories. I was in therapy to try and nourish my relationship with food and see what had gone on there. And I actually just started feeling so amazing. I thought, maybe there is a better way than fad dieting. And I really wanted to spread that message. So I started a blog back in the blogging days as sort of a way to like share my journey. I wasn't perfect. I was like, 1 week I'd be like, I threw out the scale. The next week, I stopped counting calories and I added protein back into my diet and I started feeling like this, or I added fats into my lunch. Again, I was so afraid of avocado and fats. And I just started feeling well again. My skin started to clear. My hair got thicker. My sleep got deeper. My hormones definitely balanced out. So I started feeling well and I wanted to share it. So I started sharing it through the blog. And very soon after that, I got my first book deal with Pan Macmillan. So in Australia, I had this incredible platform. I had this, and then I had the second and third book come soon after that.
Okay.
And a JS Health app. All in this time, I was also in private practice for a couple of years with clients, seeing them face to face.
This is amazing as a nutritionist because I'm actually seeing a nutritionist right now. I have a session with her today.
Oh, good.
And I think that it is really helpful to have someone who has actually been through it in order to have that kind of like empathy and really understand the mindset, you know? Not that every nutritionist has to have gone through it, but it's so powerful and just like so meaningful that you're able to be so vulnerable and share that because I think then that allows so many of the people like us to relate and be able to be
in
vulnerable.
my practice, I started attracting a lot of people who were struggling with relationship with food. I sort of became known for that. Jess is the one who will teach you how to have a better relationship with food and your body. I mean, those are the best years of my career. People now say to me with JS Health Vitamins, so what's your end goal? My end goal is to be back in private practice.
Interesting.
With my clients. There's nothing more rewarding than seeing how health, nutrition, diet changes, lifestyle changes, supplementation can move the needle for people's health. It's extraordinary to me. I mean, I saw it face to face. People would come in with gut issues. We would tweak this in their diet, add probiotics, take this out in a very, very balanced, moderate way, and suddenly their gut issues would be resolved.
Yeah.
You know, sleep, stress, it's just incredible.
It affects every aspect of people's lives.
And it is
people
everything.
Don't even realize. Yeah.
As a nutritionist, that's what has been one of our strengths of creating JS Health Vitamins because I believe in the holistic approach. It's obviously not just supplementation. It's diet too. It's lifestyle too. It's stress reduction too. It's relationship with food and your body too. So it's looking at all of it together and seeing supplements really as just therapeutic doses of those nutrients and minerals we love and respect so much through our food and putting them into a capsule or into a tablet at a therapeutic dose to really move the needle with a specific pain point. That's how I see vitamins. They're a medicine like you take Panadol when you have a headache. You take supplements or Tylenol in the US. You take supplements for a specific pain point because I always also say you can be doing all the right things, eating well, drinking your green juice, practicing yoga, and still not sleeping well. And that's where research-backed extracts can seriously change your life with sleep. Or you can be doing all the right things and your gut health is still unsettled. That's where probiotics at a therapeutic dose can really change your gut health.
Totally. It's just like a little assistant.
It's difficult to get that level of ingredients, that dose through food alone.
Right. Totally concentrated.
So I was in private practice for so many years and I was prescribing minerals often. People would present with low minerals in their blood work, iodine, zinc, selenium. And I found this incredible kelp and I would take it myself. I was low in iodine because I have a thyroid disorder and I would prescribe it. And people were reporting that their hair was growing like wildfire. But in this time also, during my time in private practice, I was prescribing other hair growth nutrients and minerals and just wasn't seeing it have such an effect. Like silica and biotin were the most popular ones, and I never saw them really make a huge difference. So I was like, hang on a second. I feel like this kelp, there's something to it. There's this really pure kelp from Nova Scotia that's then harvested in Tasmania. And we looked into the research and we saw that iodine that comes from kelp has been proven to restore hair growth and strength.
Okay.
But we call it the miracle kelp because there's just something about it. It's two different extracts. The way that it's extracted, the way that it's harvested, the purity of it. I mean, seaweed, kelp is so rich in minerals. I look when I'm on the beach and I look at it, I'm just like, you're some magic
you're like,
specimen.
you.
Like you're a magic, natural part of our world. There's just so much
in it.
So much in it. And so that's what is Inherent Energy, a very special kelp complex. We call it the Miracle Kelp Complex that absolutely works. I don't know if you've seen our before and afters. What happened was I was in private practice and I really saw what people were struggling with. As I said, gut issues, inability to grow their hair, skin breakouts, stress, sleep. And I just knew, having spent so many years seeing what ingredients work, what ingredients don't, having studied health and nutrition for so long, having also seen the research, I knew I could create formulations that would solve specific pain points. Notoriously, vitamins were you go down the CVS aisles and you take your vitamin C and your turmeric and your calcium, vitamin D, but people don't really understand what these ingredients do for them. And they also, it was never associated with a health or beauty need or function.
Totally.
We saw supplements as
preventative. It was
preventative.
always just like a physical health or preventative thing. Exactly.
I was like, I wanted to tell people that if I put together this formulation that is specifically for skin breakouts, they just need to look at the label skin and digestion and understand that that formulation will totally clear their skin. Same thing as hair. Our names are reflective of the research and reflective of the function. The pain point is on the label.
Got it.
Detox and Debloat, that product was developed because so many people I would see were really struggling with bloating. There was not one formulation on the market at that time for deep bloating.
Okay.
And we looked into the research and saw that fennel has been shown to reduce abdominal bloating and distension. So I knew also from my experience that liver loading, when the liver needs support, it can put pressure on the digestive tract, which can cause bloating. And so I knew a formulation that had dual effect of tackling the liver and tackling the digestive system at the same time would yield the best results for reducing bloating.
Okay.
So it's just my time as a nutritionist, my time of seeing which ingredients work, which ones don't, and being able to then also look into the research and only use the ingredients that have been proven in the science to work for a specific pain point.
Completely.
And then suddenly we sort of were seen as this brand that was a solution to specific pain points, beauty and health needs.
Targeted things.
Targeted things.
Because that's what I think sometimes, like, in this day and age, there's so many vitamins, so many supplements, and, everybody wants to take a multi, and then there's obviously certain specific things that everybody needs. Like, how would you recommend one go about, like, creating their ideal vitamin routine? Because I feel like I sort of get confused. Is this one going to have, like, some magnesium in it, and this one has it too, and then it's going to be too much magnesium. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, it feels like a little overwhelming, and then I'm like, oh, I'm just not going to take anything.
100%. And that's why I'm so obsessed with my customer support team who guides people. But what I do is I call it the core 4. Okay. There are 3 or 4 formulations that are a really good base. Most people just feel so well when they take them, and there's no evidence to say that you can't take them long term either. And they're a really good base to build off. So that is magnesium, fish oil, probiotic, and sometimes turmeric.
Okay.
Especially when it's the right turmeric.
Interesting.
Right
Not
extract.
vitamin D.
Vitamin D dependent. Like some people, their levels will be fine. Vitamin D is a good one to add into there, but
not part of your core 4.
It's not part of my core 4, but it is something I'm very passionate about, because when you're low in vitamin D, you really want to replenish those stores.
Right.
So I call it the core 4, and then you build on from there depending on what you're struggling with. So I take the core 4, and then I go through periods where I'm more bloated, and I take detox and debloat. Or I go through periods right now where I actually haven't been sleeping that well. I double down on our sleep formulation PM Plus with magnesium. So it's really taking a nice base that you can take, because probiotics every day can just benefit so much. We just know that with the research is just so strong when it comes to how our gut health is linked to our overall health and well-being.
Yeah, I was talking to my child's kindergarten teacher because, like, there was this period where everyone was getting sick. All the kids were getting sick. And I picked him up one day and I said to the teacher, I was like, how do you not just get sick all the time? Like, you're always fine. She's like, honestly, it's my probiotics.
Oh, totally.
Like, I've been taking my probiotics every morning for years and I just don't get sick. And I was like, there's something to that.
And
I'm
the
like,
serotonin
there's a
that's
commercial
made in
right
the
there
gut.
for kindergarten teachers.
100%. I mean, we know 70% of the immune system lies in the gut. Our serotonin is made in the gut, our feel-good hormone. There's now studies to link our gut health to sleep. So we really must take our gut health very seriously. As I say, that's really a great place to start. If there's one product to start with, it probably is probiotic. And then my second one would be magnesium.
Okay.
Just because in this day and age, to really tackle the nervous system, to calm it down, bring it back, and muscle relaxation, of course, at the same time is what magnesium is known for, can really help someone to feel amazing. And obviously magnesium is involved in 300 different biochemical pathways in the body. So it's really just can restore so much in the human body.
Yeah.
And it's hard to achieve those levels through food alone for a lot of people, not for everyone. So you want to build on that depending on what you're struggling with. As I said earlier, you can be doing all the right things but still needing that extra support. And that is where I see supplements, you know. I do all the right things. Trust me, I'm a nutritionist, but sometimes I go through periods where I don't sleep well. And then we've added in a research-backed extract, lavender oil extract, and passion flower with 3 different forms of magnesium into our sleep formulation that can really support deep sleep and calm the mind at the same time. So our formulations are very targeted. All of our ingredients are backed by either traditional research or scientific evidence. As a nutritionist, I pretty much won't use an ingredient unless it has been proven in the science to work.
Of course.
We're also listed medicine in Australia. So the way we are regulated is of the highest possible caliber. The manufacturing standards and facilities are of the best of the best. So the way the raw materials are tested for safety, purity, and efficacy is really what allows a formulation to stand out in terms of being well monitored, well regulated, which is very important for me.
Is it produced in Australia?
Yes, and we are starting to manufacture overseas, but we'll only use GMP standard facilities, which is a stamp of this is the highest possible manufacturing regulations to abide by. That the manufacturers themselves have to abide by.
So you have offices in Australia and London and in LA now.
Yes.
And where's your favorite place to be?
At the moment, LA, because it's in the building. I didn't realize that I was an entrepreneur, but I think maybe I am. I love the building phase. I love being with our team, putting our minds together and, you know, trying this, trying that, and seeing how are we going to help people understand that Jay's Health Vitamins is the brand to take. Because
so essentially, like, the plan is bringing it over to the States and trying to.
It just started happening organically, honestly. People were just purchasing from Australia, and they were like, the shipping was taking too long, and then our Amazon sales suddenly started growing. So everything started growing here, and then that's when we decided maybe we need to come and set up a team. We were just going to set up the team and go home, but it has grown quite significantly over the last 8 months. And so I am just a nutritionist who's passionate about really good quality formulations. I know what our formulations can do for people. I know the attention to detail with the ingredients. You know, I do say there's a difference between a nutritionist creating a brand, especially supplements, versus just a businessman or woman.
Of course.
The decision making is just different. I'm not thinking margins and profit. I'm literally just thinking what is the ingredients that are going to move the needle for my customers' health and well-being. I'm also looking at the research. I'm also looking at my experience over the last 10 years, knowing what works, what doesn't, or what has side effects. So I just think being a nutritionist, I do say try look for a brand that is either created by a nutritionist or guided by a practitioner in some way when it comes to supplements.
That makes sense.
Because our decision-making is different. I think there has to be a willingness to never compromise when it comes to quality ingredients. And trust me, I can make lots of different decisions in the manufacturing world because magnesium glycinate is very expensive, but I will not compromise by not using it. I will not, you know, our fish oil's heavy metal tested, sustainably sourced 1.5 grams, which is a very therapeutic dose of fish oil, plus vanilla coated. So because I knew people avoided taking fish oil because of the fishy aftertaste. Of course. All of those little details are just because the most important thing to me is my customers' health and well-being. And so I will never compromise when it comes to quality ingredients.
So when it comes to the business, who's actually looking at that? Is that your husband?
My husband is the CEO.
Okay.
Yes, and we have a CFO and a whole team. And I'm so lucky, it's a privilege that I just don't need to worry about that side of the business because I'm just solely focused on product development, solely focused on the ingredients.
It's ideal.
I'm lucky. I am really lucky to have that.
Very lucky, but not just lucky. I mean, you've obviously worked for it and you have the knowledge and the experience.
Yeah.
How's it working with your husband?
Well, it's so interesting. Firstly, both of our parents work together, I have to tell you. So we saw it modeled somehow. Yeah, Dean's parents are lawyers. They work together forever. My parents still work together in an interior business. At this point in time, I can honestly say it's just a blessing. People would say, you're crazy, it's so hard. But because we have such separate roles, I'm all product development, I'm all customer, I'm all brand. He's all business, numbers, CEO stuff, that we don't really cross over.
Okay.
Very honestly, I can't even think of a time where we have recently crossed over, unless it's coming to, I'm creating a magnesium powder and he has to manage the cost side.
Right.
And because I'm not going to back down on the 3 different forms of magnesium that I'm going to be using in this powder. So he has to make it work.
Totally.
You know?
So does it come home with you though?
So of course, sometimes it does. But I think my mom is also was a relationship counselor.
Amazing. Okay.
So in my head, my whole life was relationship first. So I can honestly say, we do put our relationship first, but of course sometimes it trickles in, and that's when we just like, okay, boundaries. So
totally
no talking about work after a certain time every day, holidays, 1 or 2 really good vacations a year together, weekends. We used to work weekends and now we don't, just weekends being together and not talking about work.
Yeah, setting up those
just boundaries. It's all about boundaries.
Timmy and I are the same. I mean, we don't do everything together, but there are certain aspects of our job that we do together. And at first...
Yeah, how do you do it?
Well, when we first started working together and I was pregnant and we started filming a YouTube series together and he was like behind the camera kind of producing me.
I wonder if I think I might have watched that one.
I love my baby, but I hate my pregnancy. That's what it was called. And so that dynamic started not working for me. You know what I mean? Because I felt like he was producing me and like trying to get I don't know. I didn't love that dynamic. But then we started to figure out ways like how we do our reaction series together and he does all the editing and then I do the promotion and we have like very clear roles for how it works. And obviously we're a partnership. Like I think that it totally works. I think that it can work for a husband and wife to work together as long as the relationship is healthy.
Good foundation.
A good foundation and it's healthy on its own.
That's exactly.
Then I think that you can manage all that stuff.
I always say I'm so grateful my husband and I were together for so many years before creating Jay's Health Vitamins, to create that strong base, knowing what matters.
Yeah.
The roots. And I also think you just have to have the utmost respect for each other because there are times where business is so stressful. You've just got to know no matter what, we're going to respect each other through this process.
Right.
But also no one will have your back like your husband or your partner who loves you. You know, I know that I don't think I would have done this without Dean. I really don't believe I would have.
No, I know. It must feel so safe, obviously, to have that. And then when there are the big wins, like who better to experience them
and
with
I get to be with him all day.
Yeah, exactly. Timmy and I are like that too. We're like kind of codependent, so we love that.
Yeah.
What would you say, looking back, has been like kind of the biggest learning curve, like the hardest part for you?
Well, it's just such an intense industry. It's ingestibles, it's manufacturing, it's, I just have a dream to create formulations that are really going to help my customers' health and beauty needs. And I really care that they're going to deliver. They better deliver results. And so being in that manufacturing world and controlling all the different aspects of ensuring that it's going to be nothing but perfect quality is much more difficult than people realize. This industry is difficult and you're dealing with ingestibles, you're dealing with regs, you're dealing with so many different things. So I think I've had to learn how, I'm just controlling so many different aspects of the manufacturing world to be able to come up with a formulation that I'm going to feel comfortable being in the market space.
Right. And being behind. I mean, I'm learning a little bit with that too. We're not obviously doing supplements, but we're doing like low dose THC gummies.
Yeah.
I'm working with this company that started last year and I'm coming on as creative director, but I'm even seeing how much goes into
just the decision making.
One little gummy.
Oh, it's crazy.
One little package with 10 gummies in it. Everything that goes into it.
But I've also had, my team will tell you I care too much. And that
I don't think you can ever
care too much.
I don't think you can ever care
That's
too
what
much.
my philosophy is. So unfortunately, that's what's difficult is there'll be, business pressures, but at the end of the day, I only care about making sure that that product is going to move the needle, that's going to stand out, that's going to be safe, pure, and effective.
Well, I think that's the only way that the product can then succeed.
Well, I always say,
if you half-ass it and you put something out that you know could have been better, like the customer will see that too.
A winning formulation is unbeatable.
Exactly.
I really believe that.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I answered that very well. What was it? What was the question?
Let's go again. No, but the learning curve, you said it was just basically how hard it was to get the integrity of what you want. And I'm sure how expensive it is to do all the testing and I
think none of us in the supplement space, anyone who out there who might be in the supplement space will tell you don't realize it's a very, very difficult industry to be in. So having to work with my dreams, because I know and believe J's Health Vitamins can be the most trusted vitamin brand, honestly, in the world. And I say that from a humble place. Our formulations, my belief in them is so strong. So balancing that with the pressures of what this industry looks like and just all the various aspects you have to consider with my dream, it's just, that's the biggest learning curve, is the balancing of the care, the love, the belief, the vision with this is a hard industry to be in, and every single day is an absolute challenge.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And building a team. I think founders are visionaries. I feel like you'd be the same. Like, we see the long-term vision. We are so focused on the heartfelt mission and purpose behind what we do. Are we necessarily then also good at running a business, being founders, being leaders?
No,
I'm self-aware enough to say, like, that's not my strength. I think I'm loving and caring towards my team. That would tell you, and I'm the heart of the business. But that's something hard, because when you are trying to build your dream and your vision, you do need your team, and you need to really ensure that they are motivated and feel respected. And I think that's been an interesting challenge. Is Jess, the founder, the visionary. Founders are intense. Founders are very passionate. Founders almost don't believe, and things take time. Like we're too.
It's just like, if I need something to happen, like I want it now.
I want it now. And I'm self-aware enough, again, to say, like, we are like that. We don't realize that things do take time, and the team need time to plan something out. I think being visionaries,
and to do their best.
We're just like now. We just almost too excited
because
and passionate.
We see it, we expect it to just happen in front. Totally, but
that's a learning curve.
I get that, and I think that it's really great to understand and give up that ego, because it's okay to not be able to do it all. Like, I'm trying, not that I'm able to have like a CEO of my business, and my business is not necessarily just one product, but I'm definitely trying to take that on too as I'm getting older, like more creative roles where I'm not necessarily managing or building a team, because I don't know, that's not my strong suit, and I'm not necessarily passionate as much as that's important.
I just think owning that is what's so important. It's just knowing, these are my strengths, this is what I'm good at. There will be some crossover, because as a business grows, you do just have to do a bit of everything, but then if you can, anyone out there who's starting their own business, just trying to keep your strengths as your main role, if possible, if you do have that support elsewhere, it can be really helpful.
Yeah. Being in the vitamin space, there is like obviously a lot of competition, and it's become a very popular industry to be in. How do you deal with that? Do you tune it out?
Yeah.
Are you aware of what's going on?
It's really become so popular, because 6 years ago when we started, I actually started because it was such a sort of old school industry. Like, it wasn't as competitive as it is now, to be honest. It wasn't like, as I was telling you, ingestible supplementation for beauty needs, skin, like knowing a supplement can help with your hair growth and beauty, and was quite unpopular, like it wasn't a thing at the time.
Definitely not. I feel like it was like right before COVID, I want to say, was when it started to pop off. And then definitely during 2020, when people really started to take a look at their health and supplements and vitamins. And
I have to say, I mean, I never was trying to be like anyone else. I found there to be a gap in the market. I was trying to create these products for myself and for my clients in private practice. I knew I could create a range that was very focused on the specific pain point to be a solution to people's beauty and health needs, those main ones that we all know, skin, hair, gut issues, stress, sleep, I knew I could create a line that was going to be very functional, very targeted, and remove that confusion and overwhelm that people were feeling. And I have to say, I really just didn't look to my left and right that much. And if I had, I probably wouldn't have entered the space, because if you start thinking about the competition, you start thinking, I want to be a bit like them, I want to be a bit like them, I don't think I would have come up with our unique formulations. I was so excited and passionate about the ingredients and the formulations I knew would solve a problem. And I do say, if you're starting a business, like just solving a problem that you're so passionate about is what drives you every day. And I could see that I knew, for example, when people were coming to my practice and breaking out, I knew that that skin and gut connection was so strong. So creating a formulation called Skin and Digestion was so clear in my mind. There was no formulation out there in the world that has skin and digestion or skin and gut, but I just knew that targeting the gut while supporting the skin repair at the same time
was something
that I knew would clear my client's skin. And I just knew, I was like, I know that this product will be life-changing for people. I know that this kelp is going to help grow people's hair. I know that those extracts are going to help people sleep deeper. I just didn't look so much to my left and right. I was just too focused and too passionate about the ingredients, the formulations, what are my customers needing? I think listening all the time to what my customers need, as opposed to listening to what the industry is doing.
Yeah.
And now that it's so competitive, of course, my team is always trying to find new ways to market things. What's so important to me as a founder is our customers, our community, understanding what sets us apart and getting a sense of the essence of who we are. It's nutritionist created, it's full of care, it's quality ingredients, it's integrity behind everything that we do, it's research-backed ingredients. You know, the challenge is, how do you show what sets you apart? And it's because that's ultimately how people are going to make that decision, whether they should buy that brand or that brand.
Exactly.
So
it's
that's
the
challenging though.
Yeah,
through your
but
marketing,
that's what you're doing here.
Hopefully.
You know?
Like I mean, I could literally speak on this podcast for 2 hours just talking to what sets us apart, because that's what my passion is. It's like, I want people to know, when it comes to creating a magnesium, not all magnesiums are created equal. When it comes to creating a fish oil, not all fish oils are created equal. So just helping educate, nothing even to do with Jay's Health Vitamins, but helping people understand supplements, but also understand diet and lifestyle too. I'm a nutritionist, so I care about the whole picture.
Right.
And I think education is challenging.
Yeah.
Educating people on, I just care to help people feel well.
Totally.
I think that,
I think that diet, nutrition and diet and all these things can be such a personal thing, but it is so helpful to have like, you know, a nutritionist foundation as education. And I think that's also empowering. Just the conversations are empowering.
Yeah.
And I do think it's also very important to kind of keep the blinders on, not to be unaware of what people are doing, but I think that it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur or founder, it doesn't matter if there's a product out there that's already developed. If it's you're putting your own touch or spin on it, that's what makes it unique.
And how are you going to be different? I mean, I did have those thoughts when we were first creating Jay's Health Vitamins, is I don't want to just create that standard vitamin C or the vitamin, you know, I want to create something that's functional, that's going to speak to the customer. So thinking of how are you going to be different is important.
Yeah. So speaking of you being a nutritionist and like your own personal nutrition, how has that evolved now? Do you have like a very set, I wouldn't say diet by any means, but like what does a day in the life look for you when it comes to food and supplements?
I'm definitely just an intuitive eater, I would say at this point.
That's exactly what I'm leaning into.
That's the best. Yeah. And I think that's freedom. When you learn to just be in touch with which foods make you feel well and which ones don't, it's freedom. So I just eat to feel good. That's as simple as it is for me. I studied health and nutrition for 5 years. I've been in this industry for over a decade. Where I'm at now is when you start connecting to your body, to your appetite, to what makes you feel good, it's freedom. Because so many of us spend too long listening to what everyone else is saying, telling us to do, what's happening on TikTok, what's happening on Instagram. But it's so crazy to me because when you study health and nutrition, you learn how biochemically unique one person is. So what works for me cannot possibly work for you. So what's the point copying what everyone else is doing or saying?
So true.
It like makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Because our cells, our
sense.
metabolism, the way I digest things, the way my thyroid works, the way everything works is just different.
Yeah.
So we have to start treating ourselves as very unique individuals when it comes to diet and nutrition. And it takes time, but tuning into your body, and people say, but how do I do that? It's like really scary for people at first, but it's just practice. It's sitting down to your meals, eating slowly and mindfully, you know, eating a nutritious bowl for lunch that does include all the macronutrients. So, for example, after this, I'll go and eat lunch. I will make sure that all the balanced macronutrients are on that plate because that's what is going to support my blood sugars through the afternoon. That's what's going to support my brain function. That's what's going to support my cells. So learning that the different macronutrients are there for a reason. And for example, if I didn't have the avocado or the fat in the salad that I'm going to have after lunch, I probably will get hungrier quicker. If I don't have enough protein at lunch, I'm going to also feel much hungrier much faster. You know, during the week for me when I'm working, and I'm sure as a mum, when you have to have energy, I'll try my very best to just have those really nutritionally balanced meals that support my blood sugars, that support my energy, that support my mind and concentration and sleep, actually. And then on weekends, I totally indulge. I drink wine on Saturday nights. I had gelato this last Saturday night. I had pasta because I'm also willing to feel more tired the next day. I know I'm going to be more tired the next day.
Right.
So
but
it's just
you want to
being in
enjoy
touch.
yourself. Exactly.
It's really being in touch because the more in touch you get, which just takes time, the better your decision making goes. So you might still make the decision to eat your in and out. That's okay. But you probably will choose not to do it as often as you were because of how you feel. And that's sometimes, again, where supplements come in for people who are on the go, can't always get the nutrients in. That's where greens powder, we have a Vitality X powder that is pumped with nutrients, minerals, antioxidants to protect your body, to give you that energy, to give you that vitality.
Amazing.
So that's, I think you're going to love that with like what
because I
people need.
generally feel, and I feel like a lot of probably women my age, and I just went to my doctor and said this, like I feel good, but I just like generally feel tired. And I feel like that it's, the first two things he said to me were, you know, the first things we turn to are like sleep and hydration. And I was like, okay, those both could be better. You know, like I literally
Sleep and hydration is, you know, that the number one cause of fatigue is dehydration.
I feel like I knew that, but I just refused to believe it.
I'm actually obsessed with helping because when you're low in energy, everything in life just gets harder. And it is really just the simple tweaks that we can make in our everyday diet and lifestyle that can really support energy. And definitely drinking water is one of them. Definitely sleep. Try by 10 p.m. Magnesium at night can really support like feeling energized in the morning when you wake up. But it can just be that you're low in one or two nutrients or minerals. For example, iron. You really might be low in iron.
Well, we had blood drawn, and then I have another like follow up with him this week to see what there is. So if you're a little
bit low in iron and then you supplement with it, you could feel a whole lot different.
Yeah. I'm hoping that there's something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you don't want anything, but you always like, you want something so that you, even if it's a placebo effect, just so that you feel like you're doing
stress
something.
Makes us tired for prolonged periods of time. We know cortisol is our stress hormone. When it's pumped for too long, it causes our adrenal glands to really get tired. That's what's called adrenal fatigue. So cortisol, adrenaline, pumped out. That's sort of the world we're all living in, just high on like too much cortisol. And so we have to reduce the stress to also re-energize.
That's so true.
And it doesn't have to be this drastic thing. It's literally switching the phone off by a certain time. I switch my social media off every single night by 8:30 p.m. I literally delete the apps.
That's actually...
Because it exhausts me. And it also probably creates stress. So it's like, where am I going to find... My therapist says to me, where are you going to find more space in your life? Because social media takes up so much. Stress of business takes up so much. So it's carving out space. And the only way to do that is to set boundaries. And really, I think it's reducing stress is a very important factor when it comes to increasing energy.
And what are some of the ways that you do that you take care of yourself?
And I'm actually having to do it now more than ever because I feel like I'm a bit burnt out. I feel like everyone is, because I'm so lucky I get to speak to women every single day. And
I've got
65, I've got 65 females in my team, and then I've got the Jay's Health community, and they're all saying something very similar to me. There is a sense of, I'm tired, I'm burnt out, I don't have the same level of motivation that I normally have. Sometimes I'm like, is it the air quality in LA? I just don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it. Oh, obviously embryo freezing, hormones.
I know. I don't know what it is. There's something
that people are feeling really tired. Yeah.
Really tired. I mean, I know for me, it's like Sunny's out of school. It's now summer break. I have this energy where I'm like, I just want to have an 80s style somewhere where there's no rules and it's just like free flowing and whatever, because I just feel tired. Like I don't want to set boundaries, rules, routine. I just want to go with the flow. That's like my vibe right now. And I kind of want to lean into that.
And it's the small, tiny things that we do. As you said, doesn't have to be drastic. Like for me, it's really switching my phone off by a certain time every night and then not scrolling on social media first thing. So I don't look at my phone until after a healthy morning routine. So I do 20 to 30 minutes, go out into the sun, do a quick workout, coffee, Jay's Health smoothie, Jay's Health vitamins, and then I check my phone. So just a bit of boundaries with the chaos, because it's an inundation of information through social media. Like, people lie in their beds before bedtime and just scroll.
I cannot deal with that. So I don't do that.
Okay,
I charge my phone in the other room, and I don't do that. And I don't wait. When I wake up in the morning, I immediately wake up. I'm not saying I don't watch a screen, watch a little show or something before Sunny wakes up. But I get on my phone, but I'm not like immediately working.
Okay,
but
good.
I definitely don't sit in my bed scrolling for a while when I wake up in the morning or before I go to sleep.
I can say one life-changing thing here, don't scroll just before bed or first thing in the morning.
Okay.
It's changed my life.
Okay.
And weekends, we were saying earlier, like, that's, again, for me, small little tweaks in my everyday lifestyle.
Do you have any exciting launches coming up soon or anything that has just launched recently that we should discuss?
We are launching berberine because I didn't want to launch a product for blood sugar management or weight management until I could find the actual extracts that have science to back them. So we're doing a really special berberine with 2 different extracts that have been proven to support weight management, blood sugar control, body composition changes.
Wow.
I'm very pro healthy relationship with your body. I'm not a weight loss brand.
Right,
so I had to be really careful. But some people are allowed to want to lose weight in a healthy way. And that is when I put together a berberine product that I think is really going to move the needle. We're doing a magnesium powder because our magnesium people are obsessed with. It has sold out 8 times.
Oh my God, amazing.
So we're now doing a powder version.
To do a drink in the evening.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And then the scalp serum. So I feel maybe one thing I can say is I think I said it before, like what people should look for in a supplement range. Like what I feel like people don't understand how to navigate this world of supplements. But I think we spoke about it.
Yeah,
Looking for a nutritionist created if you can, research-backed ingredients, the care factor, like can you sense that the brand is really all about a customer's health and well-being, looking at their manufacturing and quality standards. How are they testing the raw materials? Where are the products being manufactured?
I have my nutritionist today. It's just like a FaceTime thing. Okay. And I've been seeing her like every 2 to 3 weeks.
That's so good.
For a while now. Nice. She's really great and hasn't been too specific or focused, or it's not like this is how many, this is what you need to be eating today, or this is what how many calories you need to be getting in, or like, and at first I was really scared to talk to a nutritionist because my issue was like consistency. Like it's very hard for me to be consistent about stuff. It's been really, really helpful. And also just like it is practice.
Totally.
You know, she's like one of the most important things is just remembering that your body needs something like every 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right. You know, so
and it's just small changes and
remembering
tweaks.
That.
People forget that the smallest changes and tweaks is what equals some of the big results. You don't need to like completely just transform your diet and lifestyle in a week. Like
no.
Sometimes the small changes, very subtle ones, are the things that are going to move the needle the most.
Yeah, it's so true.
So just as you said, like drinking more water today, maybe caffeine can be tricky for me. I have a rule, 1 coffee a day, even if it's a strong one, that's fine, before midday, has changed so many of our customers' lives in terms of energy and sleep.
Interesting.
So,
I drink my latte in the morning, and then I try not to drink. But sometimes I'll have like a matcha in the afternoon.
Magnesium. And then do you want to talk about how to prepare the uterus for embryo freezing? I talk sometimes about supplements. They're not even in my range.
Yeah, sure. I mean, this was an experience that you just went through. You just went through embryo freezing.
I did.
So you know how to prep the body. I mean, this is something that I think also is confusing for women because they're not sure if they should be taking anything along with everything that they have to take for egg retrieval. The research
has pretty much blown me away with a couple of supplements. They're not even in our range, but hopefully I'll do them in time. But I just wanted to mention, I don't know if you know about CoQ10.
Yes,
I'm sure.
I first learned about CoQ10 when I had mastitis. When I was breastfeeding and I had mastitis, and the doctor told me to use it for the milk to come out more easily.
Well, one of the powerhouse antioxidants, and that is incredible it's really incredible for egg quality. So when you're preparing for your motherhood, CoQ10, NAC. The research on NAC with reduction of miscarriage rates is incredible.
Oh, amazing.
NAC. Vitamin E, again, for cell, like free radical damage protection and healthy egg quality. So CoQ10, vitamin E, NAC, and vitamin D.
Okay.
So those are the ones to really try and invest in. when you're trying to have a baby, I think that's where the research has been very promising.
Okay, amazing. And this is more for like egg retrieval or for
Both.
prenatal?
Like prenatal,
Yeah.
prenatal with a prenatal.
Yes.
So those products on top of a
On
prenatal.
top of a prenatal.
And then if you're doing egg retrieval as well and embryos.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Or
also
egg
heard-
retrieval and or embryo.
Okay.
Like I had my embryo, I had the eggs fertilized.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
But I think the research is, I know, is it? I'm waiting on my second batch to be tested.
Oh my God. So this was just like
This is
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2
Oh
weeks
my
ago.
God.
This was my second round.
Okay.
Have you done it?
I've done it once, only once.
Okay,
Yeah.
it was intense.
It
Did
was
you get
intense.
embryos?
We got 21 eggs and then
That's a
4
lot.
embryos. Kind
Wait,
of a lot
that's
of
a
drop
lot.
off. But we've had such a long journey though.
Okay,
We
yes,
used 2 and with a surrogate, and our surrogate miscarried twice.
so
now we're just
sorry.
taking a little bit of a
Okay,
breather.
I'm
trying to decide.
Because you're
we have
open about it. I listened to a couple of
Yes.
podcasts about it.
Yes, very open about it.
Okay.
And that's nothing. But we still, so we have 2 that are frozen.
Cute.
But we're just not sure what we want to do.
I know.
I'm just like, it was a lot. I need to take a little breather,
agree.
live my
Do
life,
that.
like enjoy my son, my summer, not be
100%.
living in the future.
No.
For the, you know what I mean?
agree. I'm like kind of doing the same.
Yeah, you take
Just
a
did
breath
them.
for a
Yeah.
second, and then you can
21
always
eggs
talk
is really
to me.
good.
Yeah, I mean that's what he said. Especially
really
for
good.
I'll be 40 next year.
Incredible.
So
It's
I was
incredible.
Yeah.
Did you do the PGA testing?
Yes, did
Yeah.
all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something that's great for being in California that you can do here that you're not
I'm
not
so
able
lucky.
to do it in
I feel
Australia,
like I'm
right?
here to build my business, but also
to
make
build
a baby.
your family. Totally.
To build my family.
Yeah. Well,
So,
welcome to LA.
thank you.
To
Thanks
you
so
and
much,
your family
Whit.
and your business. I'm so excited.
Thanks
that
for having me.
We got to do this.
And that you're an OG
I'm
JS
an OG
Vitamins girl
JS
too.
girl. Yeah. So where can everyone find you too? Your vitamins
For me
and then you.
personally,
Yeah.
just at JS Health on Instagram and then at JS Health Vitamins or jshealthvitamins.com. Thank you for having me. So nice to meet you.